Indeed, it looks like any second now he's going to be coming out of those doors, heading into that vehicle. So we'll be, of course, keeping a very close watch on this as we see what apparently some Secret Service agents just outside the door there. And yeah, any minute now, any second now, we'll probably see the former president coming out. As you see that Secret Service agent there just walking past our screens. We're going to keep a very close watch on this, but I want to just wrap things up in some way to talk about these incredible games that we've been seeing. We're actually one game away from wrapping up what has been an electrifying March Madness. Overnight, Louisiana State University won their first women's basketball title after taking down a dominant Iowa and their star Caitlin Clark, who had an historic tournament. And tonight, the UConn Huskers will take on San Diego State, which secured their spot in the final after an incredible buzzer beater.
Thank you, Kevin.
Joining us now from the site of tonight's final in Houston, NBC's Steve Kornacki. Steve, good morning. Boy, what an amazing...
Really? Hi, everybody. Kevin, it's fun seeing our host having a field day with the graphics. Yes. Thank you. Hello, Miss Sarah. How are you doing?
I am good. How are you, dear?
I'm having a good day. Why, yes, I am. We have waited year after year after year. Oh, he has to turn himself in tomorrow, but right now Trump is getting on a jet plane. Don't know when. He won't be under felony indictment again.
That works.
He is, yes, Debo, the memes are going to be glorious. Mwah. So, yeah, he hasn't left yet. And, but they're like, any minute now, he's going to come through this door. He's going to come through this door. And now let's talk about, he's getting on a plane to go to New York. He's going to spend the night in New York. And then he's being arrested tomorrow. I'm sorry. I'm so happy. I am so happy. Okay, Kornacki, that's great. That's fab. This is what he does when it's not election. We can tell he's having fun, because that's kind of Kornacki. Yes, Randy Rainbow has a new song out, and it is hard. Let's say hard to sing along with, but really, really good. So, yeah. So, and you survived storms last night.
Excuse me. Yes, we had. As we explained to the kids, when you have a tornado watch, you have the ingredients. So all the ingredients are on the counter. A warning means you have put together the ingredients and you have cake. So we had cake a couple of times last night. And so, we're sitting there.
And where they stand as we show you these
live
pictures.
This is more important.
Okay. No, you are important to me. I was just making sure we didn't miss something. You are precious, my friend.
Revolution Ricky has his star of the show.
And the star of the show, the cool cat who taught the fawns how to be cool. Hey. Boober's and Kitty. Yes, he's back here. Today's not monetized.
Right.
I really should put a thing up that says, I can't remember what I put the other day. Anyway, Melissa says, was that Roger Stone walking in? I don't think so. But gosh, that would be interesting,
right?
So that would be fascinating. And yes, I keep my hairpins in a very old plastic medicine bottle. This thing is so old; it's yellow. Like it was originally yellow. But they're all orange, and they've been orange for a really long time. So if you see me with the big medicine bottle, that's why. Hello, lucky girl. Still waking up, working on my second cup of coffee. Oh, I'm still working on mine with my protein powder in it. Yes, music. The Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy of company. Is it P? D? Anyway, hello, Kathy. Thank you, Kathy. Hello. Thread of Hope says Jim Jordan says he's now interested in defunding the police. Oh, sit down. Oh, you are irrelevant. Company B. Thank you, Melissa. Company G. Okay, B.
It's the original lyrics are B.
Yeah, and we should leave it at B. All right, let's unmute. Where's my thingy? What's it? Are we going? Here we go. Oh, it's a glorious
55
day.
past the hour. Any moment now, we're expecting former President Donald Trump to leave his Mar-a-Lago estate. Trump will be heading to New York City. Well, he will be arraigned tomorrow, and that's the front gate area there of Mar-a-Lago. This comes as new details are coming in on another Trump investigation. People familiar with the matter tell the Washington Post that the FBI and the Justice Department have collected fresh evidence pointing to possible obstruction by Trump in the probe into top secret documents found at Mar-a-Lago. NBC News has not independently confirmed this reporting. Joining us now, Perry Stein, Justice Department reporter.
Don't mind me, I'm going to put my makeup on.
Part of the team who broke that story. Perry, thank you very much for being with us. So what have you been able to learn about this evidence Special Counsel Jack Smith has collected in connection with the documents investigation?
Thanks. Yeah. Thanks so much for having me. So we have found that we have reported that this investigation seems to be looking at obstruction, at least as part of it. And they have found evidence that Trump personally perhaps looked through boxes, these government boxes, after the government, through a subpoena, asked for them back. So that happened in between the time that they asked for the documents back through a subpoena in May and between when they actually searched his property through that search warrant in August. So that suggests that perhaps he was personally looking through these materials to say, does he want to keep some of them or not? We don't know if he took any of them back through that process, but that is what the latest reporting suggests.
What does this suggest about potential position, right? The special counsels and the current investigation, where it's going?
Yeah, I mean, it suggests that it's moving, that they have been doing a lot of work. I know there's a lot of other investigations going on, but it suggests that this is moving forward. We don't know when it will conclude, but it suggests that they have been moving and they do seem to be building a case on obstruction or collecting evidence to potentially build a strong case on obstruction.
Give us your reporting, Perry, if you can, about the TikTok of the former president, right? We've been looking at these live pictures at Mar-a-Lago. We're expecting him to leave any moment now, take off from Palm Beach Airport, heading here to New York. What do you learn in detail-wise about the expectations with his travel?
So what we know is, I mean, now this is a separate investigation, right? That he's going to New York for. So our New York charges, what we were talking about before at Mar-a-Lago is the federal investigation. But what we know is that Trump is supposed to be taking off today from Mar-a-Lago to go to New York because on Tuesday, so tomorrow afternoon, he has what we expect to be his arraignment here in this recent indictment from New York and this has to do with the 2000, or we believe it has to do with the 2016 payments to Stormy Daniels, perhaps hush money for this alleged affair. That is what we think he is appearing for tomorrow, but he is scheduled to have an arraignment hearing tomorrow afternoon in New York.
Yes, he is.
Perry Stein, we thank you so very much for being with us. And Yasmin, as we continue to look at these live pictures from just outside Mar-a-Lago, he's going to be leaving that gate, crossing that bridge to a very short drive to West Palm Beach Airport, where his plane is on standby. We've been watching that as well. But Yasmin, I mean, it's kind of important to take a step back and just realize that the historic nature of this, just the unprecedented nature of what we're seeing happen, Yasmin.
Again, it's a lot of firsts, Jose. We are going to be seeing a lot of firsts.
Yes, we are.
24 hours. And I think at the end of the day, we can only do so much reporting. And then it's just a wait and see moment, I think, for this country, as all eyes are going to be trained on the building behind me. Seeing a former president of the United States walk in to that building and be arraigned, right? And we're waiting for those counts to be released, hopefully later on today, depending on that judge's decision. But
Yeah,
again,
they might
this
let us
word
know
we've
what
used over and over again, the unprecedented
charges are
nature
later.
of this moment
Thank
in
you,
this nation's
Joanne.
history.
Thank you.
Many of us will remember where we were on that day that former President Donald Trump was arraigned, and whether or not that mugshot will be taken of him, and then what happens next, right? When this trial will begin.
Indeed.
We know notoriously the former president has a way of being able to delay things, and how long that delay will take. But of course, Jose will be live from outside that courthouse tomorrow morning as well.
Indeed, we will. Yasmin Osukian, thank you very much. Thank you all for the privilege of your time. Andrew Mitchell picks up with more news right now.
Oh, Andrea Mitchell. I was hoping Ari Melber.
And right now on Andrea Mitchell Reports, the breaking news in Florida. Former president and 2024 Republican nomination frontrunner Donald Trump heading to the West Palm Beach airport this hour to board his private plane for the flight to New York and Tuesday's historic court appearance, where he will become the first former president to be arraigned on criminal charges.
Yay.
And good day, I'm Andrea Mitchell in New York, where Donald Trump will be traveling this hour, leaving Florida shortly for tomorrow's arraignment before a federal judge in Lower Manhattan. The city is bracing for Trump's arrival here in New York with 35,000 uniformed police, some already guarding Trump Tower, some in Lower Manhattan. In Trump Tower, the former president will be staying tonight in advance of tomorrow's court appearance. I'll be joined in just a few moments by the former president's newest primary rival, former Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson, one of the few Republicans openly criticizing Mr. Trump. But we begin, of course, with our breaking news coverage with NBC's Vaughn Hilliard in Palm Beach, NBC's Dasha Burns in Manhattan, and NBC senior legal correspondent Laura Jarrett here with me in New York. Vaughn, take us through what we're going to be seeing shortly. We see the gate there at Mar-a-Lago. When that white gate comes open, the limo will be coming out with his car.
Yes, it will.
What we are learning about the latest from his social media posts overnight.
Right, Andrea, we're all watching the exact same shot that everybody at home is watching here right now. That is the first camera point. That is the exit of his Mar-a-Lago private club and the place that is also his home. We expect to see him any moment now, leaving Mar-a-Lago, coming around here. We're about a quarter mile away from where that shot is that you presently see. We saw a few images just a few moments ago of some of his key campaign staff, including Boris Epstein, who has been leading and coordinating his legal counsel across the country for the federal cases, the state case in New York, as well as the Fulton County investigation in Georgia. That motorcade, once it leaves, I think we counted about 7 vehicles. It'll come right past where we are now. You've got a couple dozen, a handful of supporters who have come out here. This is for Palm Beach connects West Palm Beach, and that motorcade is going to drive about 5 miles west. We're straight over to Palm Beach International Airport, where his 757 jet, the Trump-branded plane, is waiting for him. At that point is when he will then fly to New York City. We expect him at this time to land into LaGuardia Airport, which is just outside of Manhattan. His motorcade will then head into Manhattan. He will be staying the night at Trump Tower before his arraignment tomorrow morning. Donald Trump, we have not heard him on camera here since his indictment. All we have gotten from his own words is through those social media posts. And just overnight, he went on the attack against the district attorney, Alvin Bragg, suggesting that he should be removed from his post. To note, the only way to do that would take the official effort, the formal processing by the New York governor, who is a Democrat, Kathy Hochul. So that is unlikely to take place. He also went on the attack against the judge who is set to oversee his case. And that judge, we should note, is somebody who Donald Trump suggested was, quote, Trump hating. Of course, there is no evidence to that extent, but this is the same judge who oversaw Alan Weisselberg's 5-month plea agreement. Alan Weisselberg was the CFO of the Trump Organization, who was just sentenced to 5 months in jail at Rikers, just down the road from Manhattan there, for implicated in the tax fraud scheme in which the Trump Organization was also found guilty in being a part of this decades-long scheme. But he also wanted the trial to be moved out of Manhattan suggesting that it would be an unfriendly trial jury pool. And for Donald Trump to note, his attorney yesterday, Joe Tacopina, suggested that they have had no internal deliberations about requesting the judge to move the case out of New York City. But of course, there is a lot ahead between now and that arraignment. But as we are all watching here this shot, we've got cameras here that are lined up in positions along the way. Donald Trump's motorcade will be going right within arm's reach of these supporters here passing by. Donald Trump, of course, is somebody who is welcomed a parade, welcomed the show of all of this. He is somebody who is trying to use this moment for his own political benefit. This is tough because a trial in the fall would ultimately run parallel, Andrea, directly with the presidential campaign that he is trying to run simultaneously.
Yeah.
And Vaughn, I know that you've been on that plane, but today, presumably he has staff and lawyers, but no press pool. You flew recently with him to one of his campaign stops, but there will be no reporters on that plane.
Right, there was a lot of negotiations, and to our understanding at this time, there is no camera, at least a pool camera, which is an agreement in which all the networks, they send one camera on, but at this point in time, we don't believe that that is taking place here. So what we expect is to at least see Donald Trump board his plane. You see that shot of his plane over at Atlantic Aviation, which is where the private planes come and go from Palm Beach International Airport. I was on the plane with Donald Trump just a week ago when he went out to his rally in Waco, Texas. Of course, we did not see that plane for several years. It came back onto the market at the end of 2022 after refurbishment. This was the same plane that he flew around in his 2015-2016 campaign. And for Donald Trump, I was tempted to ask him some questions about the particular investigation, and he promptly cut me off. This is an investigation in which Donald Trump has not wanted to answer any pointed questions, Andrea, about. And it's important to note, he declined to go before the grand jury and testify under oath himself to his version of events. So that is where you have seen him take to social media to try to write his own pre-defense to what is going to be a pending criminal trial.
And while we've been speaking, Vaughn, and we keep an eye on that gate for the first sign of his car and his short ride to the airport, about a 10-minute ride, Mayor Adams in New York is holding a security briefing with the police commissioner there, and is saying, if you're coming to New York tomorrow, be calm. This is, of course, with lots of preparations here. Let's listen to a bit of what he's saying.
Historical potential event that would take place in the city. This time, I'd like to introduce the police commissioner of the city of New York.
You know what?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Red shirt. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here. As always, the NYPD is prepared to ensure that everyone is able to have their voices heard peacefully while exercising their First Amendment rights. We do this work in close collaboration with our federal, state, and local partners, because keeping our city safe is absolutely a collective effort. As the mayor stated, there are no credible or specific threats to New York City at this time. New Yorkers may see an increased police presence in parts of the city and should anticipate intermittent road closures over the next 2 days, particularly in Manhattan. To avoid delays, I too urge everyone to use mass transit when possible. As I said, our job is to facilitate and safeguard the rights of people to express themselves and those going about their daily activities. But I will remind everyone that violence and destruction are not part of legitimate, lawful expression, and it will never be tolerated in our city. The people we serve know this, just as they know that the NYPD will be out there today, tomorrow, and every day to make sure that they are safe. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Sure. Well, we'll take some questions.
Commissioner, has Marjorie Taylor Greene or anyone else had a short comment, and has anyone been granted?
So the permitting is actually done through City Hall, but I will say that anyone who protests is entitled to express themselves peacefully.
And as the police commissioner and the mayor say that they are prepared for anything, but that people should be calm, people should be respectful, that people will be able to have their voices heard. Dasha Burns is joining us from Trump Tower. Dasha, what about the security presence that's been there for several days on Fifth Avenue and around Trump Tower?
Yeah, Andrea, well, right now things are calm. There are a couple of pro and anti-Trump protesters in front of Trump Tower right now. There is a heavy police presence here. There are police buses parked in front of Trump Tower, blocking the view, blocking the entrance, barricades all around this area. A heavy media presence, as you might expect. But right now, things have been peaceful and fairly quiet. Of course, this may look different tomorrow, as city officials here just addressed. Here's what we are expecting in the coming hours here as the former president makes his way to the city. He's expected to land at LaGuardia Airport, where we are just getting reporting that several NYPD highway escort units will meet the former president. 2 highway escort units will take the former president to Trump Tower. They will likely travel on Grand Central Parkway. They are not expected to shut down any other roads. And one official says that they don't want a, quote, paparazzi Princess Diana motorcycle-like chase or other safety issues during the drive to Trump Tower. Right now, Andrea, everyone here right now is just holding their breaths for this unprecedented moment that we are all about to experience. The TikTok for the next.
Okay, that was not a good.
Thanks so much, Josh. Laura
Anyway,
is here with me, our senior legal analyst and all things expert on all things involving this case. Laura, we are still waiting for the big unsealing of the indictment.
Yes, we are.
Which could be, you know, sort of an anticlimax because we may not see that much in it.
No, it won't be an anticlimax. It really won't.
Which goes through
It'll
the
be
whole
great
case and a lot of the evidence, or it could be very plain vanilla, bare bones.
Yeah, we just don't know yet at this point which route they're going to take. You know, Vaughn mentioned the former CFO of the Trump Organization, Alan Weisselberg. In that case, the indictment ran over 25 pages. And some of it is boilerplate, just rehearsing the counts, but some of it does tell a story. And that's one of the things I think you want to look for when, in fact, this indictment is unsealed. Now, the timing of when this gets unsealed is something
husband goat lady, you're good
today, and just trying to figure out exactly when that will happen. Typically,
we don't know,
Ricky.
Ricky. That probably won't happen until tomorrow.
But you need to have the indictment actually unsealed so
that
everyone can talk about it in open
the news
tomorrow.
People are just pushing for it to be unsealed today, but we don't know
when we might see that. Would it happen in the morning? Would it happen just before? That's one of the things we're trying to find out. Obviously, you know, we have reported and other outlets have reported some level of detail about the actual indictment, not the precise charges, but that we know it has to do with business records, document fraud, roughly 30 charges. But we need to see the actual counts and the actual level of detail to be able, obviously, to provide some full analysis about what all is there.
And we believe that the centerpiece of all of this is the hush money payments, how they were recorded, how they were repaid. We'd seen the checks, but how they were accounted.
Yes, it's important to understand that it's not the hush money itself, right? That is not illegal under New York law. It's how it gets documented on the books of the Trump Organization. And that's why in the indictment itself, it'll be interesting to see what level of detail the district attorney provides about how it came to understand that legal expenses are written on the books and records. Is it written on some general ledger that never leaves the Trump Organization? Or is it written on a document that actually did go to some tax agency? The former president's lawyers have said that he didn't take a tax deduction on these payments, but we need to understand that. We need to not just hear it from the former president's lawyers. We need to see in the indictment how it's described, what level of detail they're willing to provide, and what documentation they have to back up the word of Michael Cohen. Remember, they can't just use Michael Cohen, obviously, as a witness in this case. They need to actually have documentation to back up what he's saying to
but they do
bolster his testimony in his case.
And we don't know if one other woman who claimed that she had an affair with Donald Trump, which he has denied, she is part of this because she received, I believe, $150,000 from the from the newspaper.
Yes, so that deal is
catch and kill deal.
Exactly, and that's an interesting one because she didn't actually receive any money from Trump or Michael Cohen. She gets it from the publisher of the National Enquirer, who subsequently enters in a non-prosecution agreement with federal prosecutors.
Okay, there's something I need to do that seems really appropriate.
Well, we don't know whether she has actually appeared in front of the grand jury.
No, I mean David Pecker, the publisher.
Yes, the publisher, as well as the New York Times has reported that Keith Davidson, the lawyer for both Karen McDougal and one time Stormy Daniels, actually her attorney as well at one point. So it'll be interesting to see, again, what more we can learn about whether the Karen McDougal situation is related to a charge, or is it just there to show a pattern and practice of behavior?
It was really interesting that Joe Tacopina over the weekend and on the Today Show was not expressing problems with Judge Juan Merchan, the federal judge, but the former president was on social
let's
media.
see. There's a lot of questions about, is he going to fly out
how
of the country?
can he be on
Or is he
social
going,
media
actually
about
going
the
to New
judge, the
York?
prosecutor,
I believe
the
he's going to New York,
prosecutor's
but let me pull some cards.
without a gag order or some admonishment from Judge Merchan.
Yeah, I've talked to a lot of folks about this in the last couple of days, given the gravity of what's at issue here, given some of the things that he's been posting on Truth Social, especially comments made about the judge. Obviously, this is a judge that has a history with Trump and the Trump organization. He presided over the trial of the Trump organization, and as Vaughn mentioned, that guilty plea for Alan Weisselberg. So there is a history here, but everyone has described him as a fair and impartial. He runs a tight ship, I'm told, in his courtroom. As for whether, in fact, he will impose a gag order, I think that is a high threshold for somebody who is seeking public office, running to be the next president of the United States. It would be hard, I think, for a lot of folks that I talk to see him imposing one without more at this point. He might do something of a warning to everyone in court yesterday and say, basically, you're on notice that you need to be careful about your public statements tainting the jury pool. But, you know, typically gag orders are used by defendants who don't want prosecutors talking about the case because they might prejudice the jury pool. And in this case, it's Trump who's talking about the case and the judge. So it's one of the more unusual twists that this case has shown us.
Okay, the gate now is opening.
Oh, gate's opening.
And Vaughn Hilliard, we see the gates opening. We don't know how quickly this motorcade is going to come out. Obviously, he is in, he's got security with him, Secret Service security. There is a car. Vaughn Hilliard?
Yes, there is a car.
Do we believe that's
breaking
the
news?
car?
There is a car.
It looks like that's one vehicle. We believe this is going to be about a 7-vehicle motorcade. That's what we saw come onto the property just about an hour ago. It appears that just that one car has come through at this point, but we did get our eyes on some key campaign staff earlier that were on the property.
3 years.
Of course, our guidance was that his departure was intended to be at about
if
noon.
we knew
of course,
this was coming,
when you're
how
dealing
much
with Secret Service here, Andrea,
it would have been easier
they
to
try
get
to keep
through
you to the closest schedule they can. And of
all
course,
that
the
heinousness.
later you get into New York City, the more traffic you get. So he was, I think we were anticipating about a 4 o'clock arrival into New York City, into LaGuardia. And at that point, his motorcade was going to head over to Trump Tower. But, you know, this is so much, you know, I should note that the campaign operation has really tried to stay away from his legal efforts. All of the individuals affiliated, I should say, that are his legal counsel are not affiliated with the campaign. Boris Epstein has remained a senior advisor to Trump.
That's an unfortunate
he had been affiliated
person
with
to
the
hire.
campaign in the past,
Name.
and he has been with him every step of the way. When you think about the number of cases, Andrea, it is not just this criminal trial that is going to go to court here this year for Donald Trump. At the end of this April, the E. Jean Carroll defamation case is set to go to trial. E. Jean Carroll is the woman who has alleged that Donald Trump raped her in the mid-90s and has since followed a defamation case because he has denied those claims. That is, again, set to go to trial in New York later on this month. And of course, there's the new.
All right, I just wanted to throw this in quickly that I just pulled some cards on will Trump try to run? No. We are going to see this whole thing. The whole country is watching. He's trying to figure out how he's going to spin this, how he's going to use this to raise money. But this is brutal on him. This is not literal death, but this is brutal on him and his psyche. Good. Imagine how those children felt being taken away from their parents. Yeah. Anyway, this is going to be awful, and we're going to be happy that this jerk is being held accountable finally for something. And again, this is the appetizer. This is the appetizer. This is just the beginning. So I just want to throw that in there.
Yay.
He's not leaving the country. He's not running away. So anyway, all right.
And of course, the work of the special counsel, who is investigating not only efforts to overturn the 2020 election in the lead up to the January 6th attack, but also the classified documents case here. Donald Trump had
Ron DeSantis. Thank you, Kristen. Ron DeSantis orders investigation.
Hang on, just last August. I was out here for that. And
Ron DeSantis orders investigation into ethical violations after Disney outwits his takeover.
The way that they did that was just fantastic.
Yes.
I mean, that was just amazing.
Yes. Oh, thank you, Darren. That's very sweet of you. Thank Tris is. I'm actually drinking tea. Good. Glenn Bird, yes, DeSatan got outwitted, but it is, you only need half of one. He is only half of one. So yeah. Okay.
Weekend, Andrea. Mike Pence even coming to Donald Trump's defense. This is a moment in which there's a lot of reckoning for this Republican Party about the individual who is the standard bearer and makes up this party. Polling has consistently shown him in recent weeks by about 30 percentage points nationally. It's a moment for the party. They're going to be watching it just like you and I, him going up to New York City and standing before that judge.
We've got some more cars coming out. A second car, third car.
Oh. So we don't get to see him coming at that door?
So we would assume that this is the motorcade.
So how many minutes will it take?
Right, so this is,
Well, let me just
we should see them in about 30 seconds.
Okay, let me just say that
you see them, so they're on Ocean. Yeah.
And once he passes you and hits the bridge, it will be West Palm Beach, where the airport is, correct?
Correct. He is currently on Ocean Boulevard, and it's going to be taking a right
we didn't
turn
get to see him come out the door.
That's the street that we are standing on.
That's okay.
It is going to be 5 miles directly east to get to the airport. This is, to give you an idea, Palm Beach is about 18 miles long, but it's only, a couple hundred yards wide. And that is where Mar-a-Lago is. So what he is going to be doing is driving down Southern Boulevard here, past his supporters, past the media that have assembled, and he will be crossing over onto Bingham Island, which is the causeway that connects Palm Beach to West Palm Beach. And that is where the airport is, where Donald Trump will be. And Andrea, I think we're getting our sights here.
I think
Andrea,
he's coming up behind you.
This is the motorcade of former President Donald Trump leaving his Florida residence, heading to New York City, where he is set to surrender to authorities to be arraigned on those criminal charges. Andrea, take a listen. Andrea, at this point, he is now crossing over. You're seeing him go up over a bridge.
How wonderful is this?
That will connect him to West Palm Beach, where you'll get another camera shot of him momentarily coming.
Yes, Karen, all three of his supporters at the bridge.
You can even see the flags of Trump supporters. We've been hearing honks each day that we have been out here of folks who have been cheering on the supporters that have been in attendance. But we should expect this ride to be about 5-6 minutes at that point, Andrea, before he arrives to Palm Beach International Airport to board his 757 jet, of course, the Trump-branded plane, to head to New York City.
And as we're watching the motorcade, we have numerous shots. We've got an aerial view. Now we see the motorcade approaching us from the other side. And now they're in West Palm Beach as they head to the airport there. A very convenient airport. Obviously, during his presidency, it was very difficult for people trying to land and take off because there were so many flight halts. As you see, more supporters there waving, more flags. It looks like only supporters there. We don't see any others. No protesters on the other side there on his home turf. And he's heading to New York, which will have a very mixed reception. You can see here some horns honking. Laura Jarrett is still with me as we watch this motorcade. The expectation that this is going to lead to legal challenges right in the middle of a presidential campaign, Laura. There are a lot of steps between an arraignment and a trial, including lengthy discovery, and this could be protracted for as long as a year, easily.
Easily, and certainly months. His lawyers have signaled already that they plan to file motions to dismiss. He has mused about a motion to transfer.
Oh yeah, this is going to take a long time.
Not clear where exactly he thinks he'd be able to get.
We're moving forward.
Trial.
Literally, he's moving. He's moving toward arrest. Literally,
the jury in New York would necessarily know any more or less than anybody else about this case. Obviously, everybody is.
I might have to jump back on
around the
when
country.
he lands in New York.
It's just striking to watch.
We'll see.
Obviously, a motorcade taking a former president to surrender for criminal charges. The pomp and the circumstance of, having a motorcade, obviously for his safety, which is usually used to transport our public officials to matters of great national importance and historic events. And obviously, this is one of those historic events for a very different purpose.
Exactly. And in the past, as president and current presidents still follow this practice, and previous ones, they would helicopter from whatever airport they're landing
It's
at.
historic, Fran. I mean, as much as I hate giving him attention, it is historic.
To avoid the traffic and the jams and go to one of the landing zones in New York City, in Manhattan. But this time we're told, as Dasha Burns reported,
Sarah, I'm
that
having
he's
trouble
going to
finding
be actually driving in on Grand Central Parkway in from LaGuardia, which is very close into the city, as you know. Garrett Haake, you've covered Donald Trump for so long, and you're so familiar with Mar-a-Lago. You're there in Lower Manhattan, near the courthouse, where there's extraordinary security for several days now. What are you seeing today?
The security only continues to ramp up down here in Lower Manhattan, as does the media footprint, by the way. I mean, this is sort of all part and parcel of what covering Donald Trump, the president, the candidate, or the ex-president has looked like. They sort of maximum spectacle at all times, up to and including this motorcade today. But the NYPD is getting prepared for what could be a big day tomorrow, although I just finished watching a briefing that New York City Mayor Eric Adams had with the police commissioner, really trying to lower the temperature on what we'll see today. The mayor and the police commissioner told people they should probably take public transportation, be prepared for the possibility of significant traffic, especially downtown. But beyond that, they expect New Yorkers to go about their day. They say the NYPD, if you are ready, you don't have to get ready. And the NYPD is ready. The mayor even warning folks like Marjorie Taylor Greene coming into the city to hold a protest in the park just behind our camera position here, that they should be on their best behavior. And so, they've had a several week-long ramp up to this, Andrea, which I think is important to point out. Even before Mr. Trump predicted his own arrest 2 weeks ago, he did that in part based on reporting done by NBC News that law enforcement officials, security officials across the NYPD, the Marshal's Office, the Secret Service, and so forth, were already preparing for this moment. And so, you've got the most experienced police department in the world for this kind of large-scale movement, having a 3-week lead-up time to prepare. The city says they are ready, and obviously there's always the possibility of surprises, but to move a dignitary or a former dignitary around the city in a high-security environment is something the NYPD does every day, every year for the UN General Assembly, and they think it's the kind of thing that they can handle in a fairly straightforward way, getting him to and from Trump Tower to the courthouse behind me.
And the mayor said there are no credible threats, none at all. They have the best intelligence.
They went to great lengths to repeat that point.
Yeah, they have the best intelligence. Post 9/11, they built an intelligence unit in the NYPD that is equal to any around the world. It rivals what we have in Washington and at the federal level, and it's very closely coordinated with the Secret Service and FBI. It was done by a great man named Michael Sheehan, who we all knew and worked with, and has tragically passed way too early. But he created an extraordinary post 9/11 intelligence operation for exactly what we didn't have. And now it is not foreign threats as much as domestic threats that they are mostly worried about, as the FBI
Make sure to hit the thumbs up, everybody, please.
Congress repeatedly, year after year, and as we certainly saw on January 6th. So as you see the motorcade continuing towards Palm Beach Airport in West Palm Beach,
Pardon?
we're going to see him.
They keep focusing in on one vehicle. I'm just wondering if they know that he's in that particular one.
I don't know if they know or not.
He gets to LaGuardia Airport, and then he will be driving into the city.
Thank you,
and it will
Velma's
be a
mama.
colossal traffic jam wherever they go. They say they're not going to close streets per se, so that they won't.
Yeah, Aspasia Rising. What is? Oh my goodness, Andrea, what are you babbling about? Yes, I was really hoping this would be like Ari Melber or
59th Street
Ali Velshi or.
Fifth Avenue has barricades up all around.
At least it's not Chuck Todd.
Dasha Burns is there right now. Dasha, this motorcade is heading. Oh, Dasha was there just a few moments ago, but we will, of course, be going back to Trump Tower closer to the arrival some time ago. Vaughn, as he approaches the airport there, you've taken off and landed so many times there. This is usually a very quick operation. He'll get on the plane. We don't think he'll stop and talk.
No, that is not the anticipation here at this time. We've got another camera that is positioned right there at the entrance of the.
You said we didn't see him even come out of the building.
At least a couple dozen supporters that are there as well. I think it's important to note, Andrea,
I wonder why.
about this when we talk about Donald Trump talking.
I wonder why we're
unlike in
literally not seeing
2016 or
him.
even over the course of his presidency, the early years of his presidency.
Probably will when he
was eager to talk
I mean,
about
he's
anything.
not going to go into the tower without.
No, now he has not done a network TV interview.
Not. But if he doesn't, I'm going to wonder if he's
refused to talk
kind of messed up right now
about the January 6th insurrection.
Let's
ask. Refused to talk.
Well, I mean, one of the questions is that he's been very, according to sources, oddly subdued this last weekend. I mean, of course, he's been raining on Cruz, but there have been no in-person rage fits at all.
He created or
he hasn't thrown anything. He hasn't screamed at anybody.
The other day when he took off from this very airport and then came back from his rally in Waco, Texas.
I'm wondering if he's in denial or if he's on good
Michael
stuff.
Cohen
yeah, he's on the really good stuff. It says something that there's nobody in my life who is saying words like, she was strangely subdued this weekend. She didn't throw anything. She didn't blow up in anyone's face.
Right. Yeah.
There's nobody in my life saying that about me.
Yeah.
There's nobody in your life saying that about you.
No. Yeah, I didn't know if that level-headedness will carry through. Like if he's on, I guess there's two questions there. Like what is he drugged up at the moment? And will he continue to keep that level-headedness through the arraignment tomorrow? Because at some point he's going to show his behind. It's just he has to.
Yeah. All right. So at 41:15, look at those cars. He's literally on his way to be arrested. Every inch, every foot, every mile brings him closer to being arrested. Oh, the Spatial Rises says that must be because you're not presidential. That's it. That's why nobody in my life says she didn't throw anything this weekend.
Are you looking at if he's currently?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Stephanie Martin, like when you sedate your pet before you take them somewhere in the car. Yes, absolutely.
Normally cups are medical things, medical care stuff. But recently I've been getting pentacles as like pills. Like if or a thing like maybe somebody breaks up a pill, but to use it. But I've been getting All right. First I'm getting he is very burdened right now. I mean, this is a lot.
Well, yeah. That's
totally human, totally I don't, you did this to yourself, but okay, I can accept that. What I am getting is it's very shaky. He's had help. Let's put it that way. He's had help. There's somebody actually helping him. Do you need something? A Dr. Feelgood-ish type.
I was say he's got a Dr. Feelgood.
Yeah. And then this is the yes, I can stand, but it feels like he's like standing up before he just like sits back down again. And then he can rant and rave after all of this is over. But no, he'll be able to do that. He'll be able to stand up to say something, but then it'll just be.
Well, is he going to be able to keep that same cool through the indictment?
No. No, but no. Okay, through the arrest or the whole thing.
Yes.
What will he
the
be like?
arrest and arraignment. Yeah.
Sure. So at 44 minutes, what is Trump going to be like during the whole? I like how Hal Sparks put it when they take him in, take a mugshot, and then they take his teensy tiny fingerprints.
That's hysterical.
Every foot is closer to this jerk of being arrested. Kristen says news. Donald Trump's net worth takes a dive.
Uh-huh.
Oh, he doesn't have the money. He doesn't have the coping skills. He doesn't have the good lawyers. He doesn't have, and he did this to himself.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Yes, indeed. Thread of hope. Yes, break out baby's first fingerprinting kit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there he is. Hey, do you think you could maybe take that camera and actually make it level? Just a thought.
Mm.
Oh, okay. No, we gotta watch this, even if we have to listen to Andrea. Oh. Oh, I want to see him.
We're obviously at quite a distance to see if that is he going up the steps, the back of the plane. Vaughn Hilliard, from your vantage point, at your monitor, you know Andrea, the routines there.
Andrea, quit interrupting the person on the ground.
How we boarded a week ago. Right, that's exactly how he boarded a week ago when I took the flight with him to his first major rally of 2024, Waco, Texas. This is his same plane that he used in 2015, 2016. He had it refurbished during his presidency. He brought it back here to Palm Beach at the end of last year. He is now on that plane. And I just want to note, as I'm watching this, Andrea, here with you, the other players that are involved in this. Michael Cohen, right, who is the star witness in all of this, served 3 years in charges and that led to his own plea agreement related to this very case here. He served just over a year behind bars and then 2 years in home confinement. And now, over the last year, he has met repeatedly with not only the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, but he also met with the New York Attorney General's office related to the civil lawsuit over financial charges. And now he is that star witness here who has provided the checks that Donald Trump personally wrote to him in 2017 while in the White House, reimbursing him for the Stormy Daniels arrangement. And when I say Stormy Daniels, she is the other player in this. Stormy Daniels, just 2 hours ago, Andrea, posting that she is working on the final edits to a new film called Redemption that she wrote, she directed, and she stars in. Stormy Daniels is somebody here who just this weekend, Andrea, suggested that she would be willing to take the stand against Donald Trump as what it appears to be a criminal trial ahead for him.
Yeah.
And Garrett Hake, you have, of course, traveled so frequently on that plane as well. And there have been a lot of recent travel.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the former president has been out once again campaigning. He's been traveling around the country. I traveled with him recently when he went to East Palestine, Ohio, to visit the site of that train derailment. He's a creature of habit on these flights. He tends to keep a fairly similar pattern. He does like to travel with a larger group of aides, sometimes family members. He's got a couple of personal aides who kind of straddle the campaign versus his post-presidency office, who often travel with him. I've been watching the feed here, trying to see if I can determine exactly who's going with him today. Obviously, a full complement of Secret Service agents. That could be a half a dozen agents or more who'll be on that plane with him for the duration of that flight and into New York City tomorrow. Will, of course, be met by other agents. And he typically likes to travel with family, travel with senior aides. He keeps up a pretty active conversation in the main cabin where he usually sits. He'll watch news coverage, probably watching some of the coverage of himself traveling across the country. Previously on Fox, now of late he prefers Newsmax after the falling out he's had with some folks on the Fox network.
Ricky, put in the chat.
I think, on a travel like this,
here he comes, just waddling up the stairs singing.
What he's doing, what he'll be saying. On a trip like this, I'd be very curious to see if there are senior campaigns.
You're on your way to be arrested finally.
Given that he's not expected to speak at all publicly while he's in New York. This has been an open question
Aspasia
this
asks.
particular element of the story for the last 3 weeks.
Oh, wait a
Now
minute.
we know
You
nothing
still have.
else
You're
expected
still.
to
Did
appear
you
until
read
he's
on
back
whether or
in Florida,
not
so
that will carry
perhaps
over?
no senior campaign aides on this part of the
I was kind of reading on
travel plan
tomorrow.
here.
He's going to get such
While we
special
have seen
treatment.
we've seen him board, I wanted to bring in
Like he's
another
like he's a
Republican who is joining the presidential race.
like he's a
And he says
czar.
that Donald Trump should
Oh,
step
Jesus.
aside because of all that's going on
And
legally. The latest entrant to the race, he's going to formally
but
announce his
it's still going to be
association of the month. He's
humiliating,
former
even though
two-term
the
governor
his
of
treatment
Arkansas,
is going to
Asa
be
Hutchinson, also
so
former
much
congressman who served in the George
nicer
W. Bush administration.
than anybody else's.
So
But
good to talk to
the
you, Governor.
institution,
Your
it
thoughts as we're
humiliates
watching
him.
what
It
can only be described as a spectacle here of the former
How
president
dare
heading
you?
towards
How
his
dare you
surrender in New
treat
York
me
City.
like a common?
Well, it's a sad day to see this
Yeah, he
motorcyclist
is getting
going
special
to
treatment
arraignment
now.
in New York
Yeah.
City, and as an
Aspasia
American,
was
as
wondering
somebody
if
who's a
will
competitor
his devoted
to the
wife
presidential
Melania be
race,
going with him?
this is not a good thing for America.
Well,
It's not a good
she
thing
is going
for
out apparently
the
doing some like
GOP.
minor campaigning.
And
So she
yes,
is
I
not
always
completely
believe that the
just
office of
said.
presidency is the most important, and that
Right.
you set aside your
Okay, sorry,
personal,
neighbor,
views for the
stranger
office
to
of
my
presidency,
neighbor and
this is
stranger.
not good. But he's
Anyway.
he's going to continue.
All right, sorry. What was the
on. That's his
question?
right,
Sorry.
prerogative, and this is
Will
not
Melania
good.
be going with him to
So
New
we
York?
have to deal with this.
Yeah.
I hope that we can.
Rob D says Melania is not the stand by your man type, apparently. Oh, if you pay her enough.
Candidates running for president, we've got to navigate around this and talk about
Literally,
the
if you pay her enough,
international
there's
talk about
yeah.
border security and fentanyl and the issues
Thank
that
you,
really
E.
Americans care about now
All
and
right,
get
Melania.
with every day. So we're going to have to compete with this.
This is
and
so
it's gonna be
embarrassing.
challenging.
And
This is
it's
so
only gonna get worse if
embarrassing.
there are possibly other indictments
Have to
on issues that
protect
are
Barron. This is so
obviously much more
embarrassing.
serious to most Americans. January 6th, classified documents, possible obstruction of justice is being reported today by the Washington Post.
She is all
He
about
said
protecting
that
her
he
son
should
right
step
now.
aside because of all of the legal.
Thought she was supposed to be going out.
Yet to face this year.
She is going out. It's only to keep her
facing these charges.
Well,
it is only to keep her prenup, postnup intact.
To fulfill her contractual obligations.
Yeah, see, she's going out there to, and it will try to, and that's the thing that really galls her, which it should. She's going out there to campaign to some extent, to try to make him look better to women, women voters. So she's all hemmed in. She is super focused on mini Trump Barron, and it's only for the money. Let's just say her heart's not in Eva Braun's heart's not in it.
So we're going to have to deal with it. So we need to move on.
So while Trump is sitting in New York tonight, is he going to cause any issue? Is he going to meet with his dinsies of protesters outside, supporters?
Yes. Competition there and the adversarial relationship that's building. So those are the things that we're going to have to continue to come back with that I think are important for the American voters.
Why do you think that you're the only
Thank you, Carol.
person who has said you're running?
Put it toward the good bubbly. Thank you, Carol.
Against the former president, to criticize him and criticize his behaviors.
I wonder if he's going to be going on, like he's in New York, so be going on Fox News or
probably,
you know, I wonder if he got Tucker, Tucker or somebody or Hannity live or
state your position.
I don't know.
And Donald Trump is going to be the defining issue in the 2024 GOP primary. And so
he's familiar with the institutions of PR. This is the government, it's all big institutions, whether it's media or law or what have you.
There's not an angst against
he is going to try to he's going to try to get everybody up in their feelings to raise money.
campaign.
He's an idiot right in the middle. Surprise. And then this is just the legal stuff for tomorrow. So whatever he says, it's brief. This feels like
to suburban voters.
I don't know if you guys had this the night before you were married. You got married. If you got married, it just seems to go so quickly.
They've raised $5 million just since Friday. With the
That's kind of what this feels like.
He is ginning up so much support from this. Within the Republican field, he has
the drugged fool.
Support.
Yeah.
Something like 80% support among Republicans.
Well, we saw.
How do you penetrate that?
How the Florida.
So we got on the plane and nobody noticed?
Well, no, they said that they thought that the first one that was him that went straight up the ramp real fast.
Oh, I missed it. Well, heck, I'll watch it.
He went really fast. He didn't turn around. He didn't look at anybody, and the steps were covered. Like he went.
The leadership, the experience, the ability to address the issues, and not go into chaos and fighting over the last election is important for our country. So that's my plan, and I think other candidates will fall.
Fly, my ugly.
As time goes on.
Fly, my ugly. Fly.
Make a commitment. You've got to go after it in places like Iowa and New Hampshire, and that's where I'll be.
Just one final thing. As we see the plane taxiing, the Republican National Committee, the chair has said every candidate.
We saw that the Florida route to the airport was sparsely littered with supporters. Will the route in New York City from LaGuardia to the Tower be the same? So is it going to be the same, just sort of little pockets of folks, or is there actually going to be a showing of some sort?
Okay. I'm just trying to find a way to make the so people can you actually see does that make it easier to see the closed captioning?
A little bit.
Because it's tiny. All right, we'll leave it like this. Okay, I'm sorry. What was the question? I'm sorry.
Okay, so we saw how the route to the airport in West Palm Beach was sparsely littered with supporters. Will the route in New York City from LaGuardia to the Tower be about the same, or is there going to be more of a showing?
Well, I would think it wouldn't be that much better because it's New York.
Right.
And
I'm thinking the same thing too.
Yeah, because I mean, like I'm in Chicago, and if you try to go from O'Hare and you're going downtown, there aren't a billion places for people to gather because the highways are really packed with. There's not really a lot of. But anyway, let me see. Once it gets to New York. Oh, my stomach feels upset, and I don't think it's me. How long will it take him to fly to New York? That he's supposed to arrive about 4 o'clock Eastern. Is that what they said? So it would be like 3 o'clock Chicago time, which is where I was thinking about maybe
3 and a piece.
Yeah, but three and a piece hours. Okay. Rose Blue says, "I never knew that piece of history." Oh, I don't know.
So crowds in New York.
This is not going to turn out to be the great. I am the great center of all that he thinks it is. Kat is asking, can New York take possession of the Trump jet? That would probably be the Letitia James.
Yeah.
So then that civil trial doesn't start until October 2nd. Is that right? Yeah.
And Joyce, he's going to LaGuardia, not JFK. Carol says maybe they'll give Trump the 3D glasses to wear to make the supporters look bigger and closer so he could brag about it later.
Yes. Basically, are they going to be there? The supporters going to be around? I mean, he still has them, but the first card is actually the Four of Swords, which is yeah. No, okay, so I've got the moon in the middle. So the supporters he has, yes, they're going to be very, very upset. But this isn't interfering in any way. This isn't, throwing any kind of wrench in the works. And then I've got the Justice card again, and then the Ten of Cups, which is us being happy, seeing the charges, seeing all the charges. Yay! Yay! So, right next to the Justice card. So, possible obstruction of justice by the former president. Oh, lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Christine.
Go ahead.
No, you please go ahead.
No, I was going to say, the next question was, Trump reportedly personally looked through the boxes at Mar-a-Lago after they were requested, but before they were seized. This opens him up to obstruction charges.
Mm-hmm.
What's going to happen?
Oh, I just looked up and saw 2 planes. Documents, obstruction of... it feels like it wasn't even subtle. It isn't even like well, you might be able to look at it this way or that way. It doesn't. It feels like, really?
Yeah. Mm-mm. Reportedly, he was digging through for Roger Stone's clearance or whatever, paperwork, clemency paperwork, yeah. And then paperwork on documents pertaining to not his chief of staff, general somebody. I've got to go back and look.
I'm sorry. There's an alarm going off downstairs. Nobody's answering. I'll be right back. Sorry about this.
You're good.
Right back. I won't be able to hear though. So let me know if something happens. Okay.
We're good. Alrighty. Con Air. That is hysterical. We are putting the bunny back in the box today. That was the worst Southern accent. I love Nicolas Cage. I cannot do a Southern accent. It is General Miley. Yes, Alexandra. Yes, Millie. How do you pronounce that? Do you say it Millie? I think it would be Millie since there's 2 L's. But yes, everything that he was snatching up personally was related to Millie and Roger Stone. So.
And I'm going to bring in David Jolly, of course, a former Republican congressman from Florida. You're clear.
Okay, sorry.
You're good. You're good. No, it was General Millie.
I like that, Lisa. Brace yourself, New York. Here he comes.
All right.
Oh, thank you, lucky girl.
Very cool.
Yes, Doug, fly, my monkeys, fly.
No, Sherry, it was Millie. Yeah, the paperwork that he was digging through had to do with Millie and Roger Stone, according to Raw Story this morning. So.
Kristen's reporting that Eric Trump has tweeted he's watching the plane from the plane.
Oh, he must be watching footage while sitting on the plane. Let me look.
Yeah. I don't know what I was reading on. I'm sorry.
No, yeah, he's watching footage of the plane while sitting on the plane. Yeah, it's very,
Meta?
Inception, yeah, whatnot.
Inception.
So Trumpception.
Trumpception. Griftception. Yes, griftception. What am I reading on?
Okay, so the obstruction charges, the potential obstruction charges, he personally went digging through the boxes. They called and said, we need those boxes back. He's like, yeah, okay. And then he went digging through them himself before they came and picked him up, specifically looking for things on Millie and Roger Stone.
Why Millie?
I do not know.
Well then. Okay. There's your theft card. There's your I'm not giving stuff back card. This is his little prize, what he was looking for. This is major arcana. Jackson is somebody going hello, and like all of them is business. And then this is on Trump feeling beaten up. The poor victim. No one's ever been treated worse, ever, in the history of ever.
Oh, hum.
Yeah. So, this is the major arcana here. You're toast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have to tell you,
Dab's eyes, and JFK. Yeah.
Yeah. But I have to say, what this feels like.
Yeah.
It's not just him. There's a whole big thing. This feels like it's just part of something bigger.
So,
or maybe it's just the totality of the stuff coming after Trump, but there's other people charges, and in this and others, it's a big ball of law-y.
Okay, so he's about to go in the air. Are you coming back on this afternoon?
Probably when he lands. Probably. But
Okay.
I don't know. Probably.
Okay. Well, if you do, I'll still be on the creative sprint, so that way they're covered.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Ricky says, I never thought I would be excited to see a plane take off. Yes. Every moment closer.
Mm-hmm. I've got a couple of non-Trump questions here.
Sure. Hit me.
Okay.
Please.
1 minute 7 even. All right. Thread of Hope asks, will the Dems' plan to target 31 GOP-held seats be mostly successful, unsuccessful, or irrelevant? I'd love to see the Dems be more aggressive.
Is that Republicans? Is that senators? Sorry, is that representatives? Is that senators, or is it just Congress?
It's all everywhere.
Or Democrats during the next election.
Mm-hmm.
Whew, talk about changing gears.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Joey says, I love the way they made his plane wait in a queue. Yes. Yes. I don't think he's angry about having to wait, because every minute is more delay.
Imagine being the people on that JetBlue flight, and then you just look out
the window. Oh.
Right? Yeah. Okay.
I would highly recommend that Republicans disengage their cars from the Trump train immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Right now. Because they're working, but right now they're working to put a spin on the Trump catastrophe.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so much more to come. So the Republicans are going to end up more on the defensive the more they stick with, the Mar-a-Lago, and they push these extreme. That's the other thing they're running into is taking away rights, taking away women's rights, taking away rights. This is not going to bode well for them. As a matter of fact, I've got some major arcana here of judgment, of talk about aiming in the wrong direction. Oh, look, here it goes. Look. Lift, fly, carry him to arrest. Carry him.
In the box. Yes. Con Air. Yes.
Oh, there we go. Different view.
Okay.
Oh, on his way. Look at him. Bye. We'll see you in New York. Yeah. This is big. Yeah, this is big. This is big judgment. This is all the stuff coming at Trump and other people involved in like the insurrection and whatnot, and this or election interference, Lindsay. And this is big judgment for all of this garbage and taking away people's rights. I would change tactic. I said this years ago that Republicans will actually start regaining traction once they stop pushing the social issues and they become conservative toward things like technology. When they are actively, when their big thing is being conservative fiscally, but really trying to protect people from technological overreach, that's when they're going to start to get some traction. So, yeah. But for now, yeah, don't take away people's rights. Just a thought. So, oh, and now thank you, Alexandra. Thank you. Here's to a safe flight. Yes, indeed. We do want a safe flight. We do not want him ill. We do not want him hurt. We do not. No. And that's why I feel no guilt about being very, very happy right now, because this is what I wanted all along. I wanted a legal process.
Yes.
I wanted accountability. I wanted a legal process with lawyers and judges and evidence. And this is exactly what I wanted. So, he'll be back. He'll be back tomorrow probably. But justice, yesterday. This is the card sitting on the bottom. This is the going up the river card. This is the getting arrested card. Just sitting here.
Oopsies.
Oh, yeah.
You're broken up a little bit.
There we go. Okay, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. You've got one more question here. You good for that?
Yes, please.
Okay. At 1 hour, 12 minutes, and 20 seconds. All right. Marge wants to recall all the pandemic bailout cash, but won't say if she'll send back her $183,000. Will she put her money where her mouth is? The government needs to, we spent all that money bailing all of these people out, sending all of these people money they did not need. The government, we have a budget problem, and we just need to take back what we never should have gotten rid of to begin with. So,
That's what I'm getting. First of all, this isn't going to go anywhere. Legislatively, legally, no. She's just always trying to parade around, look at me, the far right, victory. But the next two cards, I keep getting this. I got a justice card right in the middle. I keep getting cards for Marge where she's got legal trouble coming. And then I've got a Queen of Cups. This does not bode well for Marge herself. And whatever she's talking about, yeah, it's not going anywhere. That's
yeah.
All right. All right. Well, I guess that's going to do it for now, because we did all the questions, right?
Yes, we did all
on
the
his
questions.
way. Excuse me. He is on his way to New York. When he arrives in New York, I may pop back on. It'll just be me, but I may pop back on, answer a couple questions, watch the ridiculousness, and
Only one.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So hang in there, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for this, because we've waited so long. We have waited so long for this. So, all right, let me stop the screen. So, I had a lot of fun making the graphic and the cover. So, all right. So, I will hopefully just be seeing you in a few hours, and we'll do some more reading, and just enjoy it. Just enjoy this idea of we are finally getting some justice. So, yay! All right. Take care, everybody, and thank you, Sarah.
No problem.
As always, above and beyond, you are so awesome. You are a joy and a blessing, and I just think the world of you. So anyway, all right, guys, see you in a little while.